apportera son soutien aux régions concernées par les feux de forêt dévastateurs de cet été. Entre autres annonces attendues à l'ouverture. Évidemment, l'un des temps forts de cette session sera le rendez-vous annuel du mois de septembre, mercredi à 9h, avec le débat sur l'état de l'Union européenne, avec la présidente de la Commission européenne, un 5e débat pour la présidente von der Leyen, et le premier débat sur l'état de l'Union pour cette législature. La présidente von der Leyen a entendu mercredi en conférence de présidents les différentes attentes des groupes politiques au Parlement européen. Elle pourra donc dresser un premier bilan de l'action de la Commission depuis le début de son mandat, indiquer aussi les priorités à venir. Elle sera évidemment interrogée par les députés sur l'évaluation que cette stratégie proposée leur évoque, et ils présenteront évidemment leurs propres priorités. Il est probable que les questions de défense, de sécurité européenne, de prospérité, de compétitivité, mais aussi des questions liées au coût de la vie ou évidemment aux relations internationales, soutien européen à l'Ukraine, situation à Gaza ou encore les relations avec les États-Unis seront abordées. De même que probablement la question du budget à long terme de l'Union européenne post-2027, ainsi que la double transition écologique et numérique, ou encore la manière de protéger la démocratie ou les valeurs fondamentales au sein de l'Union européenne. Ça, c'est pour le discours sur l'état de l'Union. Another key moment to note already is on Tuesday at noon, where the Parliament will receive the President of the Republic of Moldova, Maia Sandu, that will address the members in a formal sitting ahead of crucial parliamentary elections in the Republic of Moldova on the 28th of September. She will also meet the President Metsola in a bilateral meeting ahead. Regarding Moldova, on Tuesday evening, members will debate with the Council Presidency and the HRVP Kallas ways of strengthening Moldova's resilience to Russian hybrid threats or malicious interference. Already note that they will vote on a resolution on this subject on Wednesday. In the field of foreign affairs, several other important questions will be debated at the plenary session. On Tuesday morning, we will open with a debate with Mrs. Kallas on Ukraine's security guarantees and EU membership's prospects in the morning. So they will also, at this occasion, debate a Foreign Affairs Committee report encouraging the Ukrainian government to maintain the momentum of reform with a view to the country's accession to the EU. So the proposed report commends Ukraine for its extraordinary efforts in strengthening its democratic institutions at an extremely difficult time. The vote on this report will take place on Tuesday, right after the debate, end of the morning. And then tomorrow morning again, in the second part of the morning, members and Mrs. Kallas will discuss EU's response to the famine in Gaza, the release of hostages held by Hamas, and the prospects for a two-state solution. In this regard, I would remind you that the Parliament has repeatedly called, most recently in April, for the free access and sustainable distribution of humanitarian aid, medical aid in the Gaza Strip, and immediate and permanent ceasefires and conditional release of all hostages. So this was the last report, but of course there were several interventions of the President in the meanwhile. And a resolution on the specific question of Gaza will be put to the vote on Thursday. Autre question importante en cette rentrée, mercredi après-midi, ce sera la question en matière de droit de douane et de fiscalité. Les députés et la Commission européenne et la présidence danoise, ce sera le vice-président Šefčovič, qui débattra à la fois de l'accord commercial de l'UE et des États-Unis de juillet et de la perspective de nouveaux accords avec d'autres partenaires commerciaux. Et la Commission du commerce international, elle s'était réunie la semaine dernière, vous pouvez toujours aller revoir le débat. Et évidemment, si vous avez d'autres questions concernant le rôle du Parlement européen sur ces questions, notre attaché de presse se tient à votre disposition. Dans le domaine fiscal, la question de l'imposition des grandes plateformes numériques sera également soulevée par les députés lors d'une question orale mercredi fin d'après-midi. Neil, we have other topics to be voted this session. Consumer protection.
Yep, thank you, Delphine. From high politics to lower politics, I should say. For those of you interested in more down-to-earth topics, such as compensation when your holiday is cancelled by the tour operator, or how to avoid mountains of food and textile waste going to landfill. Parliament will be discussing its negotiating position on Wednesday, with a vote on Thursday for the revision of the Directive on Consumer Protection and Package Travel. The aim is to protect travellers by guaranteeing their right to refund and repatriation in the event of travel disruption or the bankruptcy of tour operators, based largely on the lessons learned during the COVID pandemic. And then Parliament's second reading approval of measures to reduce textile and food waste will also be announced, but no vote in the plenary on tomorrow. Every year, as you may recall, almost 60 million tonnes of food waste, amounting to 132 kilograms per person, and 12.6 million tonnes of textile waste are generated in the EU. The measures introduce binding food waste reduction targets for 2030 and establish a producer responsibility scheme to manage the collection, sorting and recycling of textile waste. If this sounds familiar, it's because Parliament and Council reached an agreement on it earlier this year. Tomorrow's announcement marks Parliament's formal adoption of the new rules. Also, to note, on Wednesday, there was a vote on a deal with Council to simplify the EU carbon leakage instrument, known as the part of the Omnibus package. The changes to the carbon border adjustment mechanism are part of efforts to reduce the administrative burden for small and medium-sized enterprises and occasional importers that make up 90% of all imports, without impacting on the goals to be achieved, since 99% of total CO2 imports derive from iron, steel, aluminium, cement and fertilizers, which will remain covered by the rules. And then maybe just on this summer's wildfires and heat waves across parts of Europe, MEPs will be debating tomorrow and on Thursday in different items measures to tackle the extreme weather conditions we've been experiencing and are experiencing increasingly, and the EU's preparedness in tackling them. There are no specific committees this week for me to highlight to you. Be aware, as usual, of the political group press briefings tomorrow morning in this room, where the group leaders will outline their priorities for the week, and in particular, I imagine, their priorities for the Sorteo debate on Wednesday morning. And also to announce that tomorrow afternoon, Tuesday at 2:30, Parliament's press services are organising a seminar for the media on the future long-term budget with the co-rapporteurs Marushan and Tavares, and that will take place in room S 2.1, so that's second floor of this building, down that end. So.
Yes. As you see, a full plenary ahead of us. Are there questions in the room or online? Yes, go ahead.
Edith de Vries from the Netherlands. I have a question about Ukraine. There is debate with Kallas, and your note says that there will be a vote later. Will that vote be on the situation in Ukraine, or will it be, let's say, on the bombardments of government buildings in Kiev? Where is the vote about?
The vote regards a report prepared by the Foreign Affairs Committee on the evaluation of the progresses towards enlargement. It's from 2023 and 2024. So it's prepared by Michael Galler, and this will be voted because it's part of a joint debate tomorrow morning. Any other questions in the room? Yes?
Hi, Pietro Castamacchia from ANSA. Is there a specific amount of time allocated for President von der Leyen's speech, and how much is it?
Thank you, Pietro. We don't have already the speaking time for Wednesday. You know that traditionally it's around 20 minutes. Then, of course, it's a bit different. The most important is to make sure that the time is given to present the evaluation of what has been done in the year and also the priorities. So generally, there is sufficient time allocated to make sure that the members can exert their scrutiny role in full. Any other questions in the room? Not at the moment, nor online. If it's not the case, don't forget that we have our press services available at the desk, at the press room. There are lots of journalists joining us this week, so if you have any difficulties, join our colleagues. They will try to make your life easier. And don't forget to be on time on Wednesday morning, because everybody wants to arrive at 5 to 9, but it takes a bit of time to access, so take that into account to make sure that you are on time to listen to the debate on Wednesday morning. I think that's it for me, and I wish you all a very fruitful week here in Strasbourg. Thank you.